Let's be honest, cash flow is something almost every independent hospitality business worries about. One thing I like about Square is that they don't just handle your payments and point of sale, they also help you access your money faster, with next day payouts available as standard. And when you're looking to grow, they offer funding options through Square Loans and Cash Advance. Square does the Square stuff, so you don't have to. Right now, they're offering up to £4,000 in free hardware to eligible businesses to get you started. Head to square.com to learn more. Square Loans and Square Cash Advance are not regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. Terms and conditions apply. Restaurants are where life happens. First dates, birthdays, breakups, celebrations, the places we go to feel something. But behind every busy dining room is another story entirely. Over the last few months, I have been traveling across the UK, meeting some of the most exciting people in hospitality, the people holding this industry together. And honestly, I found myself asking the same question over again. How the hell do you actually stay open? Right now, hospitality is hard, margins are tight, everyone's burnt out, and yet somehow people keep showing up. In this series, we're sitting down with some of the country's most loved restaurants to talk about what it really takes. The good bits, the chaos, the money, the pressure, the passion, and why, despite everything, they still wouldn't do anything else. I'm Natalia Ribbe, and this is the Staying Open podcast for restaurant owners, restaurant lovers, and everyone in between. We are in Perranporth, Cornwall today at Summerhouse, and we are joined by co-founder and operations manager Jamie Lee Job. Welcome to Staying Open.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
I am so excited to be in Cornwall. Like, it's stunning. How do you come to work every day? Just like the luckiest girl alive.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? I think it's for us it's the normal, so I guess we don't appreciate it as much as we should, but it is very special.
It is absolutely stunning. Are you from Cornwall originally?
Yeah, I've always lived here. I've been very lucky. So I left for uni, but apart from that, I've always been here.
Where did you go to uni?
Cardiff.
Okay.
Which is kind of like the normal. It's like Cardiff or Bristol is kind of that.
Where you go if you're from Cornwall.
It's the safe space. It's kind of not too far, but like far enough that you kind of change a little.
Yeah.
You've done something.
And so we're in Summerhouse right now, which, you know, you have three businesses. So there's Summerhouse, Alcatraz, and the watering hole. Is that right?
Yes.
Where did it all begin? Like, what was first, I guess?
So it's a family business. So my dad started the business 48 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nice to still be, I guess, a business of this style and still be family owned.
Yeah.
So my dad, classic beach lifeguard, came to Cornwall for living his best life, doing a little bit of surfing, chatting up some girls, as you do. And he basically, there was a shed on the beach, so basically a beach hut. And my dad was like, you know what, that looks like a really good idea. And he borrowed some money off his mum at the time, and she lived in Devon. And then he was like, Mum, come look, this is what I've bought. And she was like, oh, Robert, what have you done? What have you done? And so that was just 48 years ago. And then bit by bit, he met my mum. And my mum is an absolute powerhouse. She is incredible. So she was the one with the hospitality experience. Dad didn't have any hospitality experience. And then together, they kind of added onto the shed every year, bit by bit, and went from being a cafe to a wine bar. And gradually it grew into the business it is today. And then my brother joined the family company, I guess officially we've always worked for the company, as in probably since we could walk.
How many siblings do you have?
Just me and my brother.
You and your brother, okay. What's the age difference between you two?
6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big age gap. Also, it's good because we've both had our own ability to kind of work on our own projects within the company without necessarily overlapping each other. We haven't like yucked each other's yum, as in we've very much been focusing on our own thing.
Yeah.
So Tommy joined, would have been now 14. Yeah, he's been kind of officially in the company 14 years. And then he started a festival company.
Oh, wow.
And
so, sorry, what is his role within the company? So if you're looking sort of after operations of the three sites, what does he do?
So Tommy is also involved in the watering hole, so he helps kind of run the day-to-day.
Okay.
But because he's not always here, because some of his festivals are in Swansea, some are on the south coast. I'm the base, and he helps run the watering hole.
Okay.
And then he focuses on his events and festivals. Every event we have at the watering hole, so we had Tom Jones, we've had the Kooks, we've had Seal. That's all my brother, so he created that brand.
Incredible. Now, you went to university in Cardiff, and what did you study?
Neuroscience.
Neuroscience. Nothing to do with hospitality.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense, does it?
I mean, I went to school for theatre, but I guess it's a bit of a performance job, but...
It is, yeah. That's probably quite handy, because it is like being on stage in hospitality, isn't
really
it?
is.
You kind of fake it till you make it.
But you finished uni studying neuroscience, and then you were like, I'm going to go back and work in the family business? Or like, how did it come about for you to then step into working here?
So this wasn't always the plan for me. I kind of, when it was just the watering hole, in my head, I was very much like, there's not enough for all of us. As in, I wouldn't want to come in and step on my dad's or my brother's feet. There wasn't necessarily a role for me that was going to challenge me enough. And I was always planning on going into medicine. And that's why I did neuroscience. And I was like, neuroscience, and I was going to do postgrad. And I had a bit of a rough time at uni, kind of some sexual harassment and kind of couple, basically just like bullying from some guys. And then I had finished my 3 years and I was like, you know what, I need a break. I'm done for now. And I was like, what do I want to do? As in, there was nothing really that I really wanted to do. I knew I loved people, and I knew I loved projects, and I always loved kind of improving and being solution driven. And then this restaurant basically came up as an opportunity.
Summerhouse.
Yes. So it had to be taken over by a local family. So that was part of the agreement with the development of the flats, because it was kind of a corporate development that people in Cornwall don't like change. So I guess like a little tick box for the community was, has to be run by a local family. And then basically my dad called me up and was like, we'd love you to come and join the company. And I said yes, basically on the pretense that I could do Summerhouse as me, and to not run it as part of the watering hole, but run it kind of independently. It's still the same umbrella company, but I wanted to have the opportunity to find my own identity of who I was, rather than riding on their coattails.
And how long ago was this?
8 years ago.
8 years ago. If you don't mind me asking, how old were you then when this whole opportunity came up?
21.
You're 21 and they see you being handed a restaurant. I mean, that is huge.
Yeah.
I don't think I started working on my first place until I was about 33, and it was like a pop-up, and that felt very overwhelming. So can't even imagine at 21 being given the keys to what is quite a big property. I mean, you've got a lot of outdoor seating, and it's a seasonal town. So obviously you're not having consistent trade all year.
Yeah.
Like, how did you tackle the whole thing?
I'm a strong believer in sink or swim, and I think probably I was drowning a little bit for the first couple of years. I'm really stubborn, and I think that's probably helped shape my leadership style today. And I didn't have any formal dining experience, so before we opened I went and spent a little bit of time at 15 Jamie Oliver's. It's not there anymore, but it was based over at Watergate. I learned from lots of really incredible, talented people there, but I very much did just kind of wing it to a degree. But I suppose in business, we all are winging it. And then after probably 3 years, we rebranded and went from formal dining. It was just kind of after COVID, really.
Yeah, so what was the original concept of Summerhouse?
Formal dining.
Okay.
So we're still table service, and we're still very focused on delivering exceptional service. But we've tamed it down now to make it more approachable and more relevant for Perranporth. So Perranporth is like, we've got diverse clientele, as in we've got people that have been coming here for 30 years, that stay in the same caravan every year at the top of the hill. But we've also got people that come and spend a large amount of money and stay in the penthouse next door. So hitting the different demographics is really hard. So we wanted to bring it back to make it more beach friendly, make it more family friendly. You're leaving the beach, you haven't got a booking, you've got 2 kids, you want to feed them, so you just go home. You don't want to have to go home, shower, put your makeup on, come back out. But if you want to, you still can. So we tried to bridge a gap a little bit. And the rebrand was the best thing I ever did for the restaurant.
So I just want to pull it back a little bit because that's really interesting. So you spent the first 3 years sort of having this more formal dining concept. And I guess you could say that maybe then after 3 years you identified that it wasn't working.
Yes.
And so financially, like, how did that feel? I mean, I guess a lot of small businesses, and you were very young, a lot of small businesses probably at that point would have to close or, reassess and rebrand, but like maybe don't always have the financial capacity to do so. So I would love to hear about like how you pivoted and worked through all of that.
So we were breaking even for the first 3 years, but it was really hard, as in to the point it was breaking me, to be honest. I was working like 80, 90-hour weeks. I was the thinnest I'd ever been. I guess it's surviving or thriving, isn't it? And I was hitting that point as in I wasn't thriving, the business wasn't thriving. The only person that was really suffering was me. I was the one, I didn't have a life. It was consuming everything. I lost my identity, really. And we did hit a point just after COVID where we sat down, and my dad is... He's very good at calling me out on my bullshit. And sometimes you need someone to cut through your stubbornness, don't you?
Yeah.
And he basically said to me, it was like, do you still want this? He was like, is this worth it? As in, I was like a size 6. As in, I'm not a size 6 person. I'm a healthy 10 to 12. But I was so blinded by needing to just get up, go again, just keep everything moving. And we looked at selling the whole restaurant. But as soon as we went out to tender, I suppose, bigger companies were coming in and they were poking their finger and they were asking me questions. And I think it was the third one that came in and I knew they really wanted it. And I was walking around and I just went, no, it's not for sale. And my dad looked at me and he went, what do you mean? And I went, well, it's not for sale, is it? I was like, I've put my toes in the water and I've got one more go in me. I was like, I know I can go again. But I think it took for someone else, I guess it's when you flip a coin, you know where you want it to, as soon as it's in the air, you know what side you want it to land on. And as soon as I knew, I think it was being reminded what an incredible opportunity the restaurant was and how much potential it did have. It was just, we were down the wrong path. We just need to accept that door was closed and open another door and see which one. And I basically just had to rebuild the team. And that was the hardest bit. But then I worked with an incredible general manager called Zoe, and she's been with me 4 years now. And ever since I started working with her, we're also very focused on female leadership. We both manage like mums.
What does that mean, manage like mums? Because I sometimes feel like there's we've got quite an all-female team at my restaurant, and I think sometimes it's difficult, I guess, with boundaries and like how much emotional support you want to give your team, but it's still a job. So I guess managing like a mum, like, please unpack that.
So I guess for me, if someone's having a really hard time, I'll go and make them a hot chocolate and we'll go for a beach walk together and I'll let them unload and I'll be there for them. If they're not pulling their weight, I'll be the first one to be like, hey, come on, we're a team. You're either in it or you're not. I'm very much the sort of person, you're on the train or get off at the next stops. So I guess I give them enough. It's purpose. Everyone needs purpose in hospitality. And I think that's probably where the industry is going, in my opinion, at the moment. I think the financial element for what we pay employees, we're being dictated no matter what. As in the government is obviously making changes and we just have to go with that. So everyone is paying higher anyway.
Yeah.
But what's keeping them is purpose. So with us, with managing like mums, is how we give them purpose. I guess with a child, you know exactly what they want in life. You know exactly where they want to go to get the most of that job for them, whether they haven't got enough confidence, but they want to go to drama school, or you know what, they actually don't know what they want to do, but you signpost them to work away and making sure they get the most out of the job, but also making sure they pull their weight at the same time. Is probably how I'd explain it.
I love that. I guess with teams can be quite hard and quite challenging. I mean, have you come up against any situations with your team, like past or present, where you've had to make some difficult decisions, or?
Yeah, lots. I think now I've kind of learned a little bit more about people. I'm still very young, but I guess I've had to learn.
You are. Like, I mean, do you have, like, I guess, again, coming maybe back to the seasonality of it, like, you know, you said you've got Zoe for 4 years, but then, like, are you hiring a new team every summer season? Are you a year-round business that are open all the time? Or like, how does that work with keeping consistency?
It's a bit of both. So I've got a really strong core team, and I normally like to invest in the team when they're quite young. So hypothetically for us, if I get someone that's got a lot of potential at 16, I know pretty much until they're 21, I've got them for 5 summers. So if I can put all my energy into them when they're young, I'm investing in their future, but I'm also investing in the business at the same time.
Okay.
So it's kind of following their journey, but also they're following the business's journey.
Is that quite a normal thing in Cornwall for, I guess, teenagers to get a summer job and stay there, like you said, 16 to 21? They're coming home every summer, even if they go to uni.
Normally, as in we're really lucky. I've probably across the 3 businesses, we've got probably about 40 staff that are just regular students that come back every summer.
Wow.
And it's incredible because they know what they're doing, they know what the expectations are, but also when we don't need them, they go back to uni. So it's a pro and a con because we don't have them all year round, but also means they get to follow what they want to do without it being financially detrimental to the business.
Okay. And so in terms of the winter season, like, I you know, again, I live in Margate and winters are so hard for us. It's our season, I feel like, is probably a little bit different to yours, and I don't think it's probably as busy as your seasons are. Like, how do you manage that as a seasonal business?
I think every year we make a new learning. You think you've got it, and then the next year something changes, especially with climate change and how unpredictable the weather is out of season now.
Yeah.
So Summerhouse closes November, December and a bit of January. So our core team take that as their holiday.
Wow. Okay.
So, for example, Zoe, my GM, her husband is the head chef. So he's been with me 3 years. He's from Argentina, incredible chef as well. But they've got a little girl together. So in winter for them, it means they get that quality family time, which they get to actually enjoy together without having to work Christmas Day or without having to do that seasonal period. So if that's what works really well for the Summerhouse. And then a lot of the girls just go travelling. They save up, they all go and do the Sri Lanka, the Bali, whatever they need to do. Alcatraz is all year round and there's a really strong core team there. It's only 20 covers inside. So basically it's busy every single day.
Wow. So is it open 7 days a week, Alcatraz?
All year round.
And it's busy every single day? That's incredible.
It's an amazing business, but I think because the outgoings are significantly less, because realistically you're never going to have more than 3 on a shift.
Right.
It's a lot easier to manage and also swallow the finances, whereas here, for example, today we'll have probably 3 on in the kitchen, 4 front of house, so it's double. And then obviously from a turnover point of view, it's probably going to be the same as what they do.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
Wage cost, which is my favourite thing to talk about. Wage cost. I mean, staffing is obviously, like, labour is probably one of the biggest spends of a hospitality business. And I think people's expectations in restaurants they're a bit skewed sometimes. I don't know, they have the really high expectations, but then also don't want to pay a lot. And obviously we need to cover that wage bill. I guess, how do you manage expectations and obviously don't put your wage percentage in the bin?
I would say it's transparency. So we always make sure before we go into any relationship, we have a really open conversation right at the beginning, especially with the seasonality aspect, because I don't want to promise everything to someone. And then, same as a lot of businesses, we hit October and you go, you know what, we haven't got the hours for you.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same as everyone. We're quality focused on the members of staff we have, but we also can't carry them through when we're not busy. Yeah. So I guess the main thing is just having that transparent conversation at the beginning.
But then I guess also, like, I mean, from a service perspective, like you've just said, you know, you're probably taking the similar takings as Alcatraz, but you've got more staff on. I mean, how do you justify that labour spend? Like, That must be tricky.
It is.
Where does your wage percentage sit? And that's a really unsexy question. But
So Summerhouse is about 35.
that's really great, though.
Yeah, we've only adapted to that in the last few months because we used to open November, December, January, and that was what bit us in the arse every year, basically. So it meant that pretty much we were more looking at like 50% because in that period it was so quiet that we were just paying people to do it anyway.
Yeah. When did you make the decision to close November, December and part of Jan?
The first year we've just done now. So we're literally finishing our financial year end of this month. So we've only been able to make that positive mood recently.
Okay, and so that's 8 years in where
Yes.
you've now made that decision to then shift to this. I'm taking that one for me. Are you actually making money now?
Yes.
And do you have a better work-life balance now?
Normally, yes. At the moment, no. Because I've just transitioned into more of a new job role.
Okay.
I'm a strong believer in being able to do every job before expecting people to be able to do it. And I don't have all the knowledge in my new job role yet. So at the moment, I'm significantly more hands-on than I have been for the last couple of years. So at the moment, I'm probably doing 6 days a week. So I have Sunday as my protected day when I spend time with my partner. But at the moment, no, but I'm hoping to get my work-life balance back in a couple of months.
Is that sustainable, like 6 days a week? I mean, how long have you been doing that for?
Only 3 weeks at the moment.
And do you feel like it's just necessary? I think that there's a lot of talk about hospitality being, antisocial hours and long hours and no work-life balance, and we don't obviously make like loads of money in this industry. But I mean, do you seem to get a lot of joy out of it? So I guess is this just the reality of working in hospitality and owning a hospitality business, or is there a light at the end of the tunnel where it will flip back to you having a bit more?
I think it will flip back. I guess it's hard because it's a family business, so it is more of a lifestyle than a job. We don't, I guess it's living in a small town as well. We know everyone knows the family. We've always lived here. It's a part of, I guess, the business identity and our own identity, and the lines of where that stops and where that starts, it's very blurred.
Yeah.
So even say on a Sunday when I'm having a day off, I'll go for a beach walk. Yeah.
Talk to you.
And normally by Sunday, I'm feeling really antisocial. And to be honest, I don't want to talk to anyone.
No.
I know that sounds really bad.
I have a very similar thing in Margate where I think because everyone knows you, but maybe you don't always know everyone, and they want to talk to you, and then they want to talk about work too. They're like, how's the restaurant? Or, oh, we want to come in, can you book us in or something? And I'm like,
and they'll message you on your
it's
personal
Sunday.
Instagram, and then it'll be...
It's my day off.
I guess I find it really hard from a burnout point of view. The only time I really feel I can actually fully check out is if I leave Cornwall. I don't feel I'm ever off work. Even on my day off, I'm never really off work. So me and my partner try and make a conscious effort to book things in where we do leave Cornwall.
I want to come back to talking about working with your family, working with your dad. What is that like? Because I'm sure there can be some family dynamics that are difficult to navigate.
I guess family business is challenging. And I think the biggest issue that, if I reflect on it, because there's no filter with family, and what you would say to someone that you're unhappy with in the workplace that isn't a family member would be diplomatic, maybe a little bit kinder. But when it's family, you don't think. If someone's pissing you off, you'll go, you know what, that's fucking shit, what you've just done. And you naturally get very thick-skinned because my partner calls it Game of Thrones when we all sit down together, because we all have our own isms, I suppose, and we are all same but different. My mum is the glue. She's warm, she's kind, but she's also the one that people underestimate because she is so warm and kind. My dad's very, very direct and also unfiltered. My brother's really social, a little bit quieter, but also very likeable, whereas I'm more direct and I want things done quickly. I don't like sitting and thinking. So naturally, for example, if I'll make a decision and do it, and then normally have to deal with backlash of maybe doing something that maybe someone else might have done a different way. But because normally businesses don't stop, do they?
No.
You're problem solving, you're dealing with, well, we have 150 staff across the 3 sites. So it's like every day is an HR problem. And
I'm sorry. In restaurants, every day is an HR problem.
Yeah.
Full stop.
There's no escaping it, is it? You've got so many different variables, not just personalities, but the lives people live that extend behind the 4 walls that we work in. So in a nutshell, yeah, it's incredible. And I'm very privileged that I get to see my family every single day and I get to work with them because they've all inspired me in many different ways. And I've also learned many things from each and every one of them, some good, some bad. And I wouldn't ever want to not work with them. I'm very grateful that I get to do the job that I do, but it doesn't come without its tears, arguments, and sometimes just standing up and walking away from the table and going, yeah, not today.
And do you feel like, I guess something that I personally struggle with is, not every day can be happy. Not every day can be like rainbows and sunshine, as much as I would like it to be. And I guess it's facing those challenges and just being like, okay, today was a bad day, but tomorrow is a new day. Like, I guess it's like what you're tolerating. When is it too much? Like, when is your dad maybe being so unfiltered with you? You're like, you know what? I don't even want to do this anymore. Like, has there been a point where you were like, I can't even believe he's spoken to me like that?
So my dad's really good with me now. I think it's also him maybe learning to work with a female. So because him and my mum were a unit, and naturally when she had children, she became more of she trained how to be an accountant and then became the company accounts lady. So she adapted her role to become, I guess, the housewife and the businesswoman. But I'm not prepared to adapt and I'm not prepared to compromise. But I think maybe the generation before did compromise a little bit more. So to my dad, I was challenging, I suppose. In a really good way. I think he's incredibly inspirational to me. And I think he challenges me and I challenge him because sometimes I'll say things and he'll not quite know how to take it. And then he'll say...
Give an example of that? Like, is it tone or... And not to make it like a super gendered thing, but I think something we hear oftentimes is, when a woman is direct, she's a bitch. And then when a man is, he's being like the boss or something.
He's doing his job.
Yeah.
I think... when people say women are too much sometimes, this isn't something that my dad has ever said to me, but it's, I think he finds, because I'm very direct, which I've also learned from him.
What is direct? You keep bringing this up. Like, what does that mean? I mean, are you just asking for things to be done?
I'm asking for things to be done in a particular way.
I don't think that's direct. That's just like asking things to get done,
But because I'm a female...
It's direct.
Yeah. As in, it's not assertive, it's like... Basically, it's a polite way of people saying I'm a bitch. And it's challenging to navigate, but because my dad's challenged me, it's allowed me to navigate it in a way that, because I'm different to what he's used to. Obviously, before I joined the business, he was working with my brother, and their style of management is different to mine. And they're probably a little bit more chilled out than me. As in, if I want something done...
How are they chilled out? Is that a male thing where they just like, things are going to work out and that...
I guess they let things slide that I wouldn't. So, for example, really small example, but this is something that happened last week. And because I'm happy to deal with the conflict, they would prefer to avoid the conflict. Okay. But they... basically, the staff at Watering Hole... Well, I've been learning lots of things over the last few weeks of kind of watering hole isms that I wasn't necessarily aware of. So one day I walked out and I was like, they're on a break, they haven't clocked out. And then I went through the payroll, and there was 2 hours worth of staff time of people that had sat down eating on breaks, but they weren't clocked out, even though in everyone's contracts it's like you work 6 hours, you're entitled to a 20-minute unpaid break, and if they want to take more, obviously that's completely on them and it's fine. And I just said at the family meeting, I was like, I just want to double check. Is this a thing? What's happening? And they were like, oh yeah, it is, just no one's ever held them accountable before. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Are we happy that I hold them accountable? And I did, and spoke to various members of staff, but one member of staff couldn't deal with being told what to do by a woman. And because of this one specific situation, they've left the company because they don't like the direction that it's going in.
And how long were they working for the company?
A year and a half.
Okay. And in terms of, like, obviously it was a man.
Yeah. Shock.
And age difference, like, was he older than you?
Not that much, actually. I think that's what, for me, I found it quite frustrating, because even though when I called him out on it, he said, oh, it's not you. And I said, well, you don't like where the company's going. The only thing that's changed in the last 3 weeks is me. So
yeah,
don't piss in my face and tell me it's raining, basically. Like, I just like...
Don't piss in my face and tell me it's raining. God, I just love these little British one-liners. They're so good.
I am a one-liner sort of person.
You are. You come out with some real zingers today, and I'm here for it.
Real zingers, I like that.
That's an American one for you. So this man who quit because you basically told him he couldn't, hang out on the clock.
Couldn't sit and scroll on his phone for half an hour and be paid for it, basically.
And how did that make you feel afterwards, like knowing that he probably did leave because you were taking over the company?
A little bit disappointed, to be honest. I think sometimes I feel like I put on a suit of armour before I go to work. And sometimes I feel like, maybe things are getting better and I can leave my suit of armour at home. And then I get these polite or unpolite reminders that it's like 1 step forwards, 3 steps back. And I think when I was younger, I thought when I got older it would get easier. And I almost made excuses for people in my head that because I was so young.
You still are very young and you have a very big job. And, especially in the family business that has been around for so long, you have, I guess, big shoes to fill or to keep things consistent. Like, how do you keep going, like keep positive and remain like resilient, I guess?
I think that's probably part of the reason why I work so much. In my head, I think I naturally have to prove myself, I suppose. I think it's, in my head, I think if I work really hard and the team see how hard I work, then I'm a strong believer respect is given. Respect can be lost, but I don't think respect is earned. I think you just respect everyone, no matter what, of their job role or their title.
But then I guess that the situation with this guy who quit, that's exactly what didn't happen. He obviously didn't have any respect for you.
Exactly.
And I mean, that would have really made me feel like quite small.
It does. It makes you question. I think you've probably had the same. Sometimes you hit that point of go, is this worth it?
Yeah.
But I think for me, because I hit that point here on year 3 of Summerhouse, I know how low I got. So now when I question myself or have this, I guess it's imposter syndrome, isn't it? It's like self-doubt and reflection on why is it so hard for me? As in, why is this so hard for a female to do a job that a man could just do without being questioned?
But then I guess we don't know what the internal monologue is that men go through. They're not big talkers. So I'm sure that there are some frustrations and nerves that they experience, and perhaps us as women are slightly more emotive and communicate and want to talk things through so much more. And that doesn't mean that we are like a lesser management style. No. It's just a different. Management style.
Exactly.
I want to come back to, I guess, like Cornwall as a whole, because you touched on how they don't like change.
Yeah.
Cornwall doesn't like change. And then you have people who come back summer after summer after summer. I mean, like, what is it like, I guess, having, a business in Cornwall and living up to expectations or wanting to maybe see that there are some positive changes you could make, but like being nervous about how they might be received? Because I mean, if you think about this business, Summerhouse, that we're sat in, you know, how it started with this more formal dining, you know, it didn't work. Mm-hmm. And you had to really be like, that did not work. I have to admit, you know, put my hands up and say, admit defeat.
Yeah.
So
I think because it is, I guess, Cornwall has become more developed over the last particularly the last 10 years. And then in COVID, everyone came to Cornwall because they couldn't go anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And I think as hospitality as an industry, but also Cornwall as tourism, we struggled. And very much the dialogue was people were like, we want our beaches back. Because the people that we used to, I guess in COVID, there was no one here. So when we were in lockdown, everyone got very used to being able to just enjoy the space for what it was when they were all off work. So then adapting back into one extreme to the next, we really struggled.
But then it's like, I mean, when people say that, like, we want our beaches back, I mean, we have it in Margate a little bit, you know, September 1st comes and literally everyone leaves. And there is that feeling, I can feel it every summer. I'm like, oh, I can breathe again. But at the same time, as a business owner, I'm like, I need those people. I need the tourism. I need them to come, or else we won't survive.
Tourism is in a massive part of Cornwall. Without tourism, like, there would be literally no industry down here. As in, you've got tourism and then, I guess, carpenters, the building trade, everyone's building second homes and first homes down here. So that trade is quite consistent. But without tourism and hospitality, there isn't. I don't know the percentage, but I would be very interested to know the percentage of people that work in tourism in Cornwall.
And so you say that it's, you know, without tourism, basically you wouldn't survive. So in the winter, you know, you're closed November, December, part of January, but then, come sort of end of Jan, February, March. Mm-hmm. Like, are people eating out? Are the locals eating out? Where do they go?
It's slow. I think Perranporth is, a lot of people, maybe they'll do like a special meal out, so we would be their place they would come to celebrate. We're not necessarily the sort of place here that people come every week for their meal out. Alcatraz is more of a, I guess, it's a coffee and a cake or a bagel. So that is very local. I love it when I go in on a Saturday and I'll probably know 80% of the faces in there. Okay. And it's a really lovely community feel. Same with the watering hole, because people go in and I guess from a financial point of view, the expectation of what you might spend per head is less because it's a little bit more transactional. Whereas here you sit, you're normally in for an hour and a half. You're naturally gonna come for an experience rather than a grab and a go. So from a seasonal point of view, those businesses, because they're less staff heavy, it's easier to adapt to the quieter times. Whereas Summerhouse, naturally, because it's table service, no matter how we dress it up, we can't keep the wages to where we want them to be.
I go to a lot of industry events and I run a community for women in hospitality called LOR, Ladies of Restaurants. And so my eye is like constantly zooming in on pictures I see, or I'm at an event identifying when I'm the only woman or there are very few women represented, which unfortunately is quite consistently true. I mean, you are a young female leader. Do you feel there's any like level of chauvinism within the industry, particularly in Cornwall? Or, I mean, when you venture out and experience hospitality elsewhere, do you see that there's a shift happening and more women in leadership roles?
I think that's one thing that I personally found really hard when I first moved down here and started more in a leadership role, because I didn't know what my voice was going to be as a leader. I knew who my voice was in hospitality and within the business, but when I started Summerhouse, it was my first time, I guess, on my own as a leader. My family was still there to mentor and support, but day to day, I was on my own. And I think naturally I was like, most of my role models previous were men. So I found my voice quite hard to kind of transition into, one, authenticity. Who was I as a leader? So here at Summerhouse is one thing we really focus on with all the staff, but particularly the women, to show them that no voice, it's not one size fits all. Everyone's leadership style is completely different. my style is only what works for me based on what I want to achieve for the business and also what allows me to sleep at night. I don't want to be at home screwing over how I spoke to someone because it didn't feel quite right or it wasn't necessarily the right thing for me to say. I always want to make sure, one, I'm authentic to who I am as a person, but it's right for the business and it's kind. And I think you can be a good leader and still be kind. Yeah. And sometimes that's something that gets lost in leadership, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I think it's something that I do genuinely feel in the last 3 years with the staff I've seen come through and come back. I feel we're making a positive difference. I've watched many girls that come in and wouldn't even say a word. They were so shy. Then at the age of 18, they've gone to Australia, moved away from home, got their first job, worked away for a year. One girl particularly is working down at Alcatraz this morning. And I guess it's for me, that's why I love my job, because it makes me feel like I am making a positive difference. And I think sometimes the hospitality industry has become inhospitable. Mm-hmm. And when I see them going off and achieving things that the version I met when they came through that front door, they wouldn't have been able to do, it reminds me that I'm watching women go off and achieve their dreams and achieve things that they might if our paths hadn't crossed.
So I do feel like there is a sort of confidence building within hospitality, mm-hmm. like in terms of transferable skills. You know, you're having to, like, time management, you know, multitask, talking to different people, you know, managing expectations. Like, there's so many positive attributes to working in hospitality that unfortunately don't get talked about.
No.
And I think that you've touched on that ever so slightly. I wanted to talk about finances one more time. Because, I mean, I run a small business and it's been super challenging, and I guess getting it off the ground as well in terms of, you know, finding the money to start it up has been, you know, was a struggle. Mm-hmm. And then paying that back. Yeah. Obviously, you're in a very lucky position where your family mm-hmm. could help you do that. You know, do you struggle financially, or like, are there moments in the business, like, are you running the accounts? Do you have your eyes on the bank account? Are you managing cash flow?
So we have 2 account ladies that work for the company and they're based on site. So we have like a weekly meeting where we go through the cash flow, concerns, wages. So we have we're constantly tracking, but there are some things at the moment we have just had to accept that things are never going to be as good as they were. So wages, obviously with NI, pensions, and literally, well, it's only happened the last few days, really, hasn't it? The increases that have gone in. Business rates, they make out like they're doing you a favour by giving you this discount when realistically they've put it up so high before that it's not really a discount, it's just a slight softener that's not really a softener, is it? And then obviously then you've got your electricity bills, and you are fighting an endless battle. You feel like you're just constantly playing a tennis game you can never win. You're hitting a ball back, but it just never seems to end.
Yeah, like I just feel like, I'm like, is this what the bank accounts should look like all the time?
And then you have a good week and you're like, oh, okay, it feels better. And then you watch so a lot of our payment runs are monthly.
Yeah.
So you'll feel like you're like, oh, okay, cool, we've made it through that hard bit of the season, and then just bam, everything goes, and then you have to pay VAT.
Yeah.
And then that all goes. And I think VAT is something that a lot of customers and also staff don't actually understand what it is. Because they'll go, oh, you get that back, don't you? It's like, well, no, we don't.
Not everything is like food, you know, you don't pay VAT on food.
Yeah.
Which is a huge expense in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Particularly, yeah.
I guess, do you guys pay your VAT on time every quarter? It's good.
Yeah, it is. It's a win.
That's
it's a positive.
Win. That's a big win. It's not something I can say.
I think if it was my job, I probably wouldn't be very good at doing it. But because the ladies do it so well and they are incredible at their jobs, they just get shit done.
Yeah.
They just crack on.
Is it worth it? The whole thing? Like, you are still young. A lot of people change careers, you know, when they get to 40 or 50, it does happen. But do you see that this is, like, in terms of longevity, is this your life?
Good question. So I would say today, based on how I feel today, yes, this is my end game and I don't ever see myself doing anything else. But after a really hard day where someone screamed at me, called me every name under the sun, and 6 members of staff have called in sick, and a dog's thrown up on me, and I've got a piece of glass in my arm, I'd probably say no. But
Has all of that ever happened to you in one day?
Oh, I've had worse happen to me in one day. I literally, some days, yeah.
I mean, does the summer season just make you like question your choices in life sometimes?
August is particularly, it's a month of just survival and smiling. We hit August 28th and you're like, 3 more days. It is.
I know this feeling, I do, I really do.
But I love it so much as an industry, and I love everything it does for our customers and everything it does for our team. I think it's just, the industry there is not really, it just feels like we're taking punch after punch at the moment.
My friend said this to me once. He was like, it just feels like we're constantly being chopped limb from limb and expected to keep going. And it does feel like that between the government and between not so nice guests and experiences in the building. You're just like, why am I doing this? But then you're right, like, I love it. I love this industry. I love hospitality. I love that, you know, we just get to work with food and wine and taste things and make people have beautiful experiences. But it is mentally quite challenging.
I think it's the mental drain and the burnout of the industry. Sometimes when I hit burnout, I just stop achieving anything, but I don't necessarily realise that I'm in it. And I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And then I look at my to-do list.
But is this, that's what I'm saying, like, is this our reality? Like, is it worth it? Like, this is what our life is, you know?
I think that's the hard thing. I'm a massive hypocrite, and I know I am, because I say to my team, like, here, for example, I'm like, you're not allowed to work over 40 hours a week.
Yeah, and then you're working 60.
Yeah. And it's, because it is a lifestyle, and there's, I guess, that family loyalty and also expectation from guests, because we've always been here. We're not someone that's just moved down for 3 years and we don't know anyone.
Yeah.
As in, it's an amazing opportunity and it's great to be so tightly knitted into a community, but it does come with its challenges, obviously, because when there is backlash.
Has there ever been a situation within such a small community where there has been backlash that has really made you feel like, I don't know, maybe a bit scared to leave the house, walk around?
Yeah, I once member of staff smashed a window near my house. That was particularly scary.
Why did they do that?
Just drunk, and then someone tried to drag them away, and then they were just angry because they were being dragged away, and then they just ended up smashing through the window. But
Was that directed towards you?
Yes and no. I think it was a social situation where they were all, obviously, as you do, after work, drunk, having a nice time. And then when I was like, you guys need to go home, you're too close to my house, one of them tried to drag someone away, and then... So that was the only time I'd say I felt unsafe, because I did call the police. But most of the time, if I feel unsafe, I normally would just know I'm going to feel unsafe and ask my partner to make sure he's there. But to be honest, the CCTV everywhere. If anyone's ever silly enough to do anything or physically hurt anyone, like, I think someone's threatened to punch me in the face here before. And I've literally said, I was
That's
like...
not funny, obviously.
No, but it is, because I just
It's
said...
like crazy. Like, in what industry do you have where people are like threatening to punch you in the face and a dog's vomited on you? What has been like the biggest highlight for you of owning, I would say, Summerhouse, particularly co-owning?
Biggest highlight, I think, is the business finding its identity again. I think because I lost myself with it when the business lost its identity. But with that now, as a highlight overall, it's watching young people come through and see that hospitality can be a career. As I think naturally sometimes people, I guess it's always I had it when I was younger, and I still even get it now. It's like, oh, what's your plans? What are you doing next? As in, they treat hospitality very much as a stopgap. And I think now more and more people are coming into the industry at a young age and going, you know what, I want to do this as a career, because they're having such a positive experience. It's not just earn a bit of money and go and spend it on a night out. They're actually becoming more emotionally invested at a young age. So I think that I don't think when I first started was a thing. So for now, I'd say that's probably my personal highlight.
That's a good one. Great. Nurturing the future of hospitality.
Trying.
At the end of every episode, we like to ask 2 questions. The first one is, what advice would you give your younger self that you know now that you didn't know when you first started Summerhouse?
In regards to leadership, be authentic to yourself and your own personality. Don't listen to every single role model you see. There's not a one-size-fits-all for leadership styles, and trust your gut. I think naturally your gut is very rarely wrong. And anytime I've doubted myself and my gut's told me, don't do it, whether it's hiring someone and it feels slightly wrong and I've hired them, my gut's always turned out to be right. So it's weird, isn't it?
It's
our bodies
so
just
weird.
our bodies just know.
And I'm always want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and then they just...
I used to, whereas now I'm like, if it feels wrong, I'm a big energy person.
Yeah, same.
So if the energy feels good, I'm like, right, let's go on this chapter together. But if it's just not quite there, then that's what an interview is really, isn't it? You just kind of, it's a vibe check.
It's a vibe check. It's definitely a vibe. I'm all about the vibes. And then the other question we like to ask is, what advice would you give someone thinking of opening a restaurant? Don't do it.
Yeah, that was literally the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, that sounds really negative. I don't think I should say that.
No, I guess it's like, what advice would you give people who want to open a restaurant? Because we need to keep this industry alive with creative, cool concepts and people, and, you know.
I guess it's be real with your expectations of yourself and the expectations of what you want to achieve, and understanding that it will consume your life, whether you want it to or not. If you love it as much as most of us do, it is a consuming industry. I think if you know exactly what you want to achieve from that business model, whether it's something you just want to do for a few years and have a bit of fun and start a business up with your mates, that's great because you've got someone to share the journey with. But if you're not 100% sure, don't do it. I would say it's the sort of thing if you're not sure, it will come out in your business model in one form or another in the first year anyway. You've got to be all in and don't doubt yourself.
Very good advice.
Thank you.
It's been such a pleasure to meet you, Jamie Lee. I cannot wait to come back, maybe not in August to see you, but another time out of the season.
Come in September, that's when everyone's like a little bit warm, everyone's a bit happier.
I love September in Margate. I always tell people come September because like everyone's left. We're all still open and and the sun is still shining. But
and everyone's slept.
Everyone's much happier in September. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's been so nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. And come to visit me in Margate anytime.
I'll try. To be honest, I don't really go north of Cornwall. I'm one of those.
Fair enough.
I'm in the bubble. But if I do cross the Tamar,
I'll come and see you. It's really quite far, actually. It's literally the other side of the world. Thank you so much for listening. This podcast exists to share the stories behind restaurants, the reality of building them, running them, and the passion to keep them alive. If you've enjoyed this episode, you can follow us at stayingopen.podcast for more conversations, behind-the-scene moments, and upcoming guests. I'm Natalia Ribbe, and this has been Staying Open. Running an independent hospitality business means wearing about 15 different hats before lunchtime. Owner, manager, marketer, bookkeeper, recruiter, the list goes on. That's why Staying Open partnered with Square. They bring payments, point of sale, and funding all together in one straightforward system, helping operators spend less time on admin and more time doing what they love. Square does the Square stuff, so you don't have to. Right now, they're offering up to £4,000 in free hardware to eligible businesses to get you started. Head to square.com to learn more.